I went from a fresh max cape with nothing to 3 whole mega rares and nearly fully max gear. With the big 3 mega rares out of the way, I can start working towards something else. Something different. A Zuck helmet. Welcome to my freshly max to fully max series. This time, adding in the Grandmaster combat achievements. About 6 weeks ago, there were huge changes to Nex. We've never done this boss outside of masses for CAs, but now, it was the perfect time to grind for items. Because of Oathplate recently coming out, and us getting the full set at Yama, especially thanks to the dry protection, Torva is not that important here anymore. There are still 2 very good upgrades from Nex. The first being Zerite Van Braces. Getting these would be massive for raids, or in general, anything that requires range switching. Currently when raiding, I use Barrow's gloves for the simplicity's sake of keeping my gear organized. I have a 7-way mage and melee swap, and in order to keep that consistency, I need the Barrow's gloves swap for 7 range items as well. Barrow's gloves have no damage bonus and a small accuracy bonus. Whereas if I get these Van Braces, on top of the Barrow's gloves, I'll get 2 whole range strength alongside an extra 6 range accuracy. It's a huge buff. The second item, which also has relevance for a GM grind, is the Nihil Horn. This can be used to make the Zerite crossbow, commonly referred to as the ZCB. The ZCB is arguably the best spec weapon in the game, providing double accuracy and a guarantee of the special effect of enchanted bolts being used if you don't miss. Essentially, this means that with Ruby Bolt's E, we can guarantee click our spec orb and always hit a 110 in one hit as long as we don't miss. While this isn't required for GM Helm speed times, there are a couple tasks, specifically Leviathan and Whisperer, that having the CCB would make significantly easier. Nex is only viable to grind in teams, usually duos or trios. I have tried both, and I found trios much more enjoyable. It is a bit worse on the drop rates, but I felt like in duos without a Blood Fury, I wasn't allowed to make any mistakes, just constant paying attention for 8 minutes straight. Whereas in trios, you have so much extra room to accidentally mess up and still get the kill. Look at this completed kill, 5 leftover brews. It is super chill. I also learned during this grind that we finally have a use for the lilies that we got from Toa. We can turn them into Menophyte remedies, which restore stats similar to a super restore every 15 seconds for 5 minutes. These are very useful and good at Nex, since we are commonly spamming brews to lower stats and heal. Something I also definitely did not know is that they are 200 Herblore XP each, pretty much our best in slot potion for Herb XP. Since I have Master's CAs, entering the room before Nex takes 25 KC from my Ancient KC. Every single kill we bank, meaning every single kill is minus 25 Ancient KC. The GM Helm would make this 15, almost halving it, technically saving us a lot of time. For now though, because Nex is only done in teams, when we have 2 other people to game with, we must send it. Getting the ancient kills is just a matter of AFKing in the room beforehand and tagging everything with auto retaliate. It's not effort, it's just time. Oh, a Torva full helm already. That's my first drop seen. A nice 70 mo split. And only 11 kills later, another team drop, a Nihil Horn. That would have been really nice to have in my name, but I'm not MVPing since I'm still new here and clicking brews a lot. Also, it looks like the MVP of that fight didn't even get the drop. So close. The next morning, I've heard nasty things about Wazi's Nex luck, so I decided to send some with him, hoping I would get a drop. He had everything already and 400 KC except for Zerite Fan Braces. And never mind. Only 7 kills into the session, he finished. That was my MVP and the 3rd drop I've seen already. It has to only be a matter of time now. The question is, which of the 5 drops will we roll? Yo, let's go! Van Braces! That's what I wanted. It's not a ZCB, but my first item being upgraded Barrow's Gloves is massive. Not only that, but I get to immediately replace those poop gloves since I do use my T-bow at next. I now feel like I have range gloves that actually do something. This is great. While not doing group content, I've passively worked on a lot of random CAs from bosses I would normally never do. One of them being the ice boss, a Moxolotl, or Moxie. Between a scythe, burning claws, and a surge pot, I was able to just click the boss and eventually get the GM time. This is nice because I think without a scythe, this would have been a Ruby Bolt reset moment. It only took us 36 kills, but that wasn't actually the last CA. One of the CAs, Tomatli Triumph, is actually gear locked for us. We get to get Glacial Tomatoes, which are a 1 in 100 drop. So that means we just park ourselves here and AFK for a bit. Almost 3 hours later, 176 kills in, we got our 1 in 100 drop. This is about 60 kills per hour, so not too bad as it was also low effort. That is the Moxie CAs completed. Another boss that I haven't touched in 10 months and only did then because I was excited about my Elder Mold drop. The Corporal Beast is almost never worth grinding on an Iron Man unless you pretty much finish the entire game. But there is a 50k CCA that we have to do. Coming here with Fortified Missouri, a Fang, and Elder Maul was almost best in slot gear, and we were able to get 9 kills per hour with this setup. Just a simple 2 Maul specs and then Fang the rest of the kill. 38 kill count, we actually got a drop, a Holy Elixir. 48 KC, another drop, a Spirit Shield. All we need now is any sigil and we can instantly make a shield. Unfortunately, no Spirit Shields for this video specifically, but yet another boss CA is greenlogged. I absolutely hated going back to Bandos after doing it almost a year ago, but there was one final CA here that I never got done, which is Defense Matters. In this CA, we have to do 2 Bandos kills in a row without taking any damage from the minions. We are allowed to take damage from the boss, just not the minions. This is probably the hardest God Wars Dungeon CA, but there is thankfully a cheese method. Using a Fang, DFS, and the 2 Justy pieces that we got from our Scythe grind, we were able to face tank Bandos while focusing on flicking the minions. The hardest part of this CA, arguably in my opinion, was not losing focus during the 90-second respawn time and being able to flick all 3 minions. It was very boring to do this for 90 seconds straight without messing up, let alone also having to heal with the brew or restore and the 1 or 2 ticks of downtime each cycle. Mr. Bandos himself also has a lot of potential to be scary. He attacks every 6 ticks while the minions do 5, which means we are forced to tank some Bandos hits off prayer while playing range or mage against the minions. That's what our Justy is for, although sometimes it won't always work. That is yet another set of boss CAs greenlogged. The only Hydra CA I was missing is No Pressure, which requires us to use a Daruk's Great Axe while camping under 10 HP the whole time. As an Iron Man who does not have the full set, I am not willing to sit at barrows until then, but rather just use the axe as a weapon to get a 3 to 5 minute kill. Similar to previous CAs, this is yet another boss that I regret not doing a CA of when I had it fresh in my mind. Because as you can imagine, after not doing Hydra for a long time, I died a couple times relearning it. I didn't even take the time to rebank. Each time, I shamelessly ran back in since no food was needed anyway, and after 4 tries, we finally got it. It is no secret that I never bothered to learn solo chambers, but I do need to do a solo sub 17 minutes for the speed time. Thankfully, because of power creep, we can make this as simple and easy as possible. We don't even have much to learn. The layout I'm trying this with is Muttadials, Shamans, Thieving, Mystics, and Tightrope. Nobody seems to like Muttadials, but with both a Shadow and T-Bow, it's not that bad. There is a small chance of splashing with the ZGS, which does kind of ruin the room, but we're only doing one raid for the GM time, so we can take that risk. Being 2 for 2 with ZGS hits, so far this raid was looking promising. The next 3 runes were simply just click to complete, and then most importantly for the speed time, we had to do the rope skip and the tightrope room. This requires 2 phoenix necklaces, both of which proc while crossing the bridge and back, allowing me to complete this puzzle room in 35 seconds. After this, all I had left to do was solo Helm. The method I am going to be using is not a recommended method for grinding chambers, but as I said earlier, I wanted to do minimal learning, and solo Helm is completely different versus team Helm. Walking down to Helm, we have 10 minutes to kill it. This should be very easy. Because I have basically 0 Helm experience in solos and all 3 mega rares, the method I'm going to be doing is called 2-0 Shadow and 1-0 Scythe. This means that I will be using my Shadow to attack 2 times per cycle, where Helm will hit me 0 times, and my Scythe will attack 1 time per cycle, where Helm will hit me 0 times. This way I take 0 damage and don't have to worry about dying and coming back. I also don't have to do some complicated drag long range into rapid or whatever people do with their staff. This is nice and easy. As I said, I'm not good at solos at all, so I took a lot of unnecessary damage on head phase, which eventually led to my death. But that didn't mean we couldn't still get the GM time. We were pacing perfectly fine, jumped right back in, and got it. Despite dying on head phase, I was surprised to see we also got the solo perfect Helm CA. Reading this, it looks like we are allowed to take damage, it just can't be from specials. Perfect Helm is a lot easier than it sounds. After learning that cheese method of 0 damage Helm, despite attacking very slowly, I did the other solo CAs, including the CM layout but without challenge mode, which got me putting it Helm on the line. This CA is basically a deathless raid with over 40,000 points. The next morning, I sent my first ever solo CM, where I kind of took my time to learn a couple puzzles, and got another 2 CAs for a deathless solo CM and the master time. Now I just needed the GM time. And surely enough, our second ever solo CM, 37 minutes and 40 seconds, Grandmaster time complete. After all of this, I only had 1 chamber CA left, a not so special lizard. This was to simply kill Helm without ever letting him use a special. It's basically the equivalent of making sure he never sees us and we're always moving out of his sight. This is tough when you are not familiar with solos. When doing the GM time, the transition from melee to mage hand and mage to melee hand, I would usually mess up a bit and tank 1 hit. The problem with this CA is that all it takes is 1 hit for him to special. When he does that, it deletes the previous 20 minutes of our life, making it a waste of time. That is so unlucky. I choked when I saw the mage hand had 1 HP. Oh my god, I legit failed this one because both me and my thrall hit a 0 and the head didn't turn because of it. I did something dumb and realized I wasn't recording. But the next morning after that failed attempt, I insta sent another raid and got it. Here's at least a screenshot I took. Sorry about that. You may have noticed, but all of these chamber clips are from pre-delve. They are a couple weeks outdated. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I've been nexting when I have a team. And to throw some extra stuff in there, I've also been doing team CMs for a chance at Ancestral or a Kodai. In case you forgot, I finished my T-bow in 34 purples with 0 Ancestral pieces. I still need Ancestral at some point. Oh no, not the 1 mil prayer scroll. These team CMs are actually pretty decent points per hour. It's about 20 to 21 minutes per raid, and I get about 35 to 38k points. That's roughly 100k points an hour. Oh! Let's go! No, it wasn't in Harry's name though! Dude! Alright, well, congrats. Useless is our teammate that is currently T-bowless. If we're going to get a bow, we want him to get it. Oh my god, I got a T-bow! This was legit the least expected thing ever. Wow, a second bow. All we need is our third teammate to get the bow next, and our raids will be even faster. Next time for sure. That's insane. I legit have no words. I have a BGS. That's my words. In case you're unfamiliar with Mudadial, we are supposed to bring in a ZGS to freeze it. I accidentally brought in the wrong God Sword, and we got slapped. Oh no, 0.6 seconds off the PB. That is so close. As I said earlier, all of these CM clips are from pre-delve, meaning the clips are either scattered or I lost some purples that I've gotten, but that T-bow was the only notable one. I will at least give you guys a fully updated log. We are up to 249 CMs and we got one twisted kit. Our total purple count is now 37 and still 0 signs of any ancestral pieces or a Kodai. When we return to CMs after this log, it will be post-delve with new upgrades, meaning faster kills, nicer boots, all that good stuff. I will end this video with at least one more CA, the normal Gauntlet speedrun. This was an absolute pain, because not only is it known as a tough speed CA, but Gauntlet was legit the first thing I grinded when I started PVMing. I had to relearn all of the strategies, which took me about 2 hours. I had to remember how to prep properly, kill Hunleth, and finally get good enough RNG with fish, shards, and a weapon. Rewatching this clip, it looks like I got really lucky with my hits on Hunleth. I entered 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, which isn't even a good prep, and that gave me only 90 seconds to kill Hunleth. Plus, he was praying mage when we walked in. So my first 5 hits were all on my tier 2 bow. After that, I did the normal 5-1 method with mage, which means we hit him 5 times with our tier 3 staff, and then on the 6th we punch him to make him pray melee, or range him to make him pray range. That way we utilize our tier 3 staff as often as possible. And that was it, our 353 gauntlet kill, another green logged boss. All caught up on this variety and random amount of bosses, it was time for some challenging content. We were getting close to the GM Helm, only missing a handful of bosses, all of which we have not done almost any CAs of. The first step, we had to relearn the Inferno. It seems like a solid point to end today's video. So just to catch you guys up on how far off GM Helm we are currently 530 out of 610 combat achievements. And without spoiling it, 40 CAs out of the remaining 80 are from 2 pieces of content. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, as a fresh reminder, this GM grind is streamed live on twitch.tv/jcwrs. Feel free to drop by Monday to Friday to catch some PVMing. Take care everybody, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.